Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Nicole, and today's video is going to be so casual. It's February 17th. Tomorrow is my due date officially. I'll be 40 weeks. Baby could come any time in the next week or so, hopefully sooner than later. So I just wanted to get this video done so there's something to roll out. So it's not going to be fancy like the last one, but basically it's a labor prep part 2 because I realized there were some things that I forgot to add. Actually a lot, and that video was like a decent amount of time, and I did make it a little more educational with the slides. It could use slides, but I didn't want to get all crazy with it. So it's going to be a more casual chat about the things that I was missing in the last one. And yeah, so if that's something that you're interested in, labor prep part 2, then stick around. So let's get into it. The first two have a theme, and that theme is downstairs. So in my last video, just to recap, there's a lot that you can do to prep your cervix and your uterus. And so 2 components is you want to make sure that you're nourishing your body and giving your body what it needs to function well, especially your uterus, because the uterus is a muscle. So it needs to be able to work, to push the baby and do all the things. So I touched on nettles and the red raspberry leaf tea, which is supposed to be nourishing for the uterus. And then there's a lot of prep that goes into softening the cervix. So you want to soften the cervix to help it. Your cervix is made out of collagen. And so you have to give your body the nutrients and help it needs to start breaking down that collagen. And that's going to allow the baby to start coming down. And that's how you start dilating, because that collagen starts breaking down. So that's what they mean when you hear you gotta help soften the cervix. So in the last video, I talked about dates. And also what helps is getting the baby engaged, and you can feel him when he starts going lower. So the next 2 things I'm going to talk about have to do with softening the cervix and just prepping the downstairs area for birth. And so something I've been doing is primrose oil. You can kind of do a combo. So you can use primrose oil to do perineal massage, but I'm not doing that. I'm actually using primrose capsules. And so at night, before I go to bed, you just insert a primrose capsule up there. And so this is something that sits in there overnight and helps soften the cervix. And so it's not a very glamorous thing, but it's very simple. I just get the primrose capsules from Sprouts. If you're this like late in the game, you know, I'm 39 weeks. Sorry, I keep having to stop these videos because there's a lot happening in my house right now. A lot of noises. So I'm 39 weeks. And so if you're at this point, you're probably wearing pads anyways, because that's part of pregnancy. Things are kind of juicy down there. So you'll just want to make sure you're wearing a pad at night, because obviously with the oil and stuff up there. But anyways, that's something that I've been incorporating for the past couple weeks. I think I started that at 37 weeks, maybe a little later, but I've been doing that to help. And then leading into that, I've only been doing this as much because honestly, it's not that fun, and it's weird, and it's hard to do. It's hard to maneuver when you're pregnant, but it's called perineal massage, and basically you are massaging your perineal area. I won't go into detail, but you can look up perineal massage, and there's a lot of YouTube videos, there's a lot of diagrams, and I ChatGPT how to do perineal massage, and it will bring up areas to focus on. But basically, you're massaging that area with, you want to make sure you're using a hypoallergenic lubricant, or you can even use the primrose oil, which you're getting double whammy, but you're prepping the area to stretch, if you will, and it's supposed to help with preventing tearing because you're prepping that area and just working the area. So perineal massage, you can look up the details of that one. I won't get into how you do it or the graphics of that. Next one is hypnobirthing meditation. So a lot of people think of hypnobirthing and they think of being hypnotized. When they talk about hypnobirthing, it's really more about getting your mind right and really emphasizing focusing on your breathing to create calmness in the body so your body's more relaxed, because when your body's more tensed up during labor, it actually makes your labor prolonged because your body or your mind thinks it's unsafe to have that baby. And when you're clenched, your body is not allowing that baby to move down because your body is so tensed up. And if you think about clenching, you can literally feel your stomach go up. And so that's going to make it harder for the baby to be pushed down. So if you think about relaxing, everything drops. And when you think about taking a deep breath, it's actually pushing down. Whereas when you tense, everything's kind of contracting up. So you're fighting against the labor. So hypnobirthing meditation, I would highly recommend just looking into like hypnobirthing classes because it really teaches you about the breath and different breathing for different stages in your labor. But hypnobirthing meditations, they're called that, but really it's not like you're going into a trance and they're telling you to act like a chicken and anything weird. It's really just about rewiring your brain, especially for the women that are going into it and they have a lot of fear. It's more about empowerment. And when I say rewire your brain, it's kind of redirecting the thoughts. And it's almost like a practice. So instead of being like, oh, I'm so scared, I don't know what's going to happen, all these bad things are going to happen, it's really emphasizing positive thoughts of my body was made to do this. I'm working with my baby's going to come at the right time. It's really just hearing those words and taking them in while also practicing your breathing. So one, you're calming down your mind and resetting your nervous system. And at the same time, you're really, even if you don't believe it at first, just hearing these messages on a loop and doing it consistently will help you with birth. Because even if you're having a hard time taking it in and fully accepting it at first, if you keep on practicing listening to it, and even, you could repeat what they're saying, eventually your brain will rewire and believe those thoughts. So I have a hypnobirthing playlist that I've been gathering like classes, and there are some meditations on there. I need to add more meditations on there, but go check out my playlist. It's called Hypnobirthing. There's some really good ones. There's a good sleep one that I've been putting on pretty consistently. So even if you're sleeping to it, it's still going into your subconscious. So I've been doing sleep hypnobirthing meditations. When I get my daily sun, I'll go sit out in the sunshine and I'll listen to some hypnobirthing meditations. They're almost positive birthing affirmations. And so it's just because birth is obviously physical. It's basically the hardest marathon you'll ever do. So there is a lot of prep and nourishment that goes into taking care of your body and doing that. But birth is also very mental. So not only do you have to work on the physical and taking care of yourself and eating right and prepping that way, but it's really important that you prep your mind too, because your mind is so strong. It can get you through anything if you have the right mindset. And so that was a very big priority for me. So hypnobirthing. Also highly recommend birth classes that emphasize that, because it will really go into the breathing and the mindset part and all of that. So there's a lot of great stuff on YouTube If you look up hypnobirthing classes, I linked a few that I thought were very good. It looks like it was done by a nurse at a hospital, so that's in that playlist if you check it out. And so connecting to that and the mindset piece, actually the next two are going to be that, is I listen to a lot of positive birth stories. So you can even search on YouTube positive birth stories. And I feel like once I put in my Instagram algorithm, once I started listening to positive birth stories on there, a lot more started popping up. But this is very helpful. Obviously you want to be like, I've also heard not good things, but I feel like that's a lot of what's out there just in general, or you'll just get it unsolicited, where you hear like people you know tell you how awful it was. So I feel like you're gonna get that no matter what. So I'd rather go search for positive birth stories, because when I hear that, it's a lot more empowering. I also like to know if it was a positive experience, like what are the things that they did? What were things that they prioritized in their labor? How did they set themselves up for success? And so that's what I try to take out of those stories, is like, what did you do to have that positive experience? And how am I going to try to duplicate that so I can have a positive experience? And it's just, I think, again, it's the mindset piece. I heard so many crazy stories that made me so scared to get pregnant. And it was actually my best friend who, she had a home birth and it was her first, and she's a champion. And she was like, it was hard, but I freaking did it and it was awesome. And now I have a beautiful daughter, and she had a water birth. And it's like, of course it's not going to be easy, but just hearing someone, how they were mentally just like, yeah, this is what my body was made for. Of course it's not going to be easy. Of course there's going to be pain, but mentally I can get through it, and I was made to do this. That's the messaging that I really try to focus on, because it's true. Yes, it's going to be painful. It wasn't meant to not be painful, but can I get through it? Yes, I can, because obviously my body was made to do that. And there's been a billion women before me, billion, a lot more than a billion, trillion, million, gazillion women before me who have done it and have rocked it. So that's what I want to listen to. That's what I want to just surround myself with, because birth should be empowering. It shouldn't be scary. And I feel like this about just health in general is people give their power away in so many cases, especially in birth. I hear so many times of, no, I don't have a birth plan. I'm just going to go in there and have them tell me what to do. No, that's not how I am. I'm not going to have someone just tell me what to do. I'm going to do my research, and I'm going to do this in the way that I feel like is empowering to me, and that feels good. With watching the birth stories, I've also been watching a ton of educational videos. I want to know not only from the mother's standpoint of positive birthing experiences and stuff like that, but I've also listened to more educational from a doula or a midwife or a doctor. I want to hear their perspective too, of like tools and techniques to help with labor. So there's a lot of videos that will talk about laboring positions and breathing techniques and things to bring in your room to make you feel safe. Just education around birth in general. A lot of women just will be like, just tell me what to do, or they'll schedule a C-section, like, I just want to be in and out, like, I don't want to think about it. And I can't even imagine not knowing and being prepared. So it's like, everybody's different, but for me personally, I feel less stressed when I'm prepared and when I know what's happening. And I even put in my birth plan, I want to be informed if anything fails and goes off of my plan. I want to know why they're doing it, what the purpose is, and if I have any other options, or what my options are, so I can make the best decision for myself, because people forget that they have the power to do so. I've been blessed enough to be able to use It's an integrative clinic, so I do have an OB I've been working with, but they have midwives, and I'll be using a doula as well, so I feel very blessed to have a good support team. But there's a lot of people who don't have that option, and they just get what they get in the hospital. And it's important to know that if you feel like you're being bullied into something that you don't want to do, or you have nurses that are shaming you around whatever your birth plan might be, that you can actually fire a nurse. If they are making you feel uncomfortable, you can fire anybody you want to fire. So people just forget how much power that they have. Talk about autonomy over your body. That's why it's important to equip yourself with the knowledge of what your options are and what the benefits and pros and cons of each option are, because you have the power to say what you want out of your birth or whatever health thing might be going on. You can say yes or no to anything. You can fire a nurse if you feel uncomfortable. You have that power, and people don't know that they have that power. So I think that they want it that way because it makes their life easier if nobody's fighting them on anything. Sorry about my dog. She's 18 and seeing I don't even think she knows what she's barking at. But anyways, it's important to educate yourself. So watch as much educational videos as you can. I even did birth class through the clinic that I'm going through. They offered the birth class. I had a whole birthing class. I had a breastfeeding class. But even on top of that, I just, read the books, watch the videos, equip yourself with the knowledge. Because like I said, I was so scared to get pregnant for so long because of just things I've heard. But once I started hearing the positive birth stories and mixing that with really learning about the ins and outs of birth, the statistics, how to get your mind right around birth, it just, that's the word that comes to mind, is empowered. I feel very empowered, and I'm going to be 40 weeks tomorrow, and my husband, oh, come here. Why are you crying? When you won't. Come here. Here's your chimneys. Why are you crying? Where's your little heartbeat running so fast? Yummy chim chims. So, I'm 40 weeks tomorrow. I'm gonna pop anytime soon. And my husband he's like, are you nervous at all? And I was like, no. He's like, you seem really at peace. I'm like, chilling. Like, I feel prepared, and I'm ready when he's ready, and it's actually been a really beautiful thing about all of this. I feel like I've set myself up for success. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not naive that my plan might not happen the way that I want it to. So that's also something that I'm leaving space for, is being pregnant has taught me so much about surrender. And I don't have full control over what happens, and that's okay. What's meant to happen will happen. So don't think I think it's going to be perfect. It might be, crossing my fingers for that, but I do know that there's always room for, and just the way my life has gone, I definitely know that things don't always go our way according to plan. So I'm leaving that space in my mind too. I'm not in a fantasy land about that, but I know I've done my due diligence. I've done as much as I can to prepare, and I feel really good about just being ready for when it's go time. And that is something I would have not thought that I would have been in that headspace if you would have asked me 4 years ago, 5 years ago. I was terrified of birth and all of it. I was terrified, and I don't feel scared about any of it now. And so that makes me feel really proud of myself, and I'm just excited. So I wish that for all of you as well. So that's why I'm making this video. I hope it really helps. It was a lot more casual than the last one, so you have to let me know what you like more, and I can maybe do more of a combo, because last time it was slides and very school-like. But that's the point of all these videos. is I just want to help other women feel connected and not alone. And I just want to help in any way I can, because this is my first rodeo too. So it is very crazy, and I can't imagine doing this without having my husband or any like support system. My heart really goes out to like, you know, teen moms or just anyone like pregnant and going through a hard time. I just don't want anyone to feel alone. I want them to feel like connected, and if this can give you any support or information, that's my goal. So anyway, that sums up, I'm pretty sure that's all the labor prep stuff. I don't think I'm forgetting anything now. So hope this helps. Love you guys. If you're getting ready to have a baby, good luck. And I'll see you in my next video. I might have a baby by then, so that's exciting. Pray for me, send me good vibes. Love ya. See ya.